Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Built for the Stage podcast. This is Joe Roscoe, founder and host of Built for the Stage, Broadway's #1 fitness platform. With clients in over 20 Broadway shows, stages in the West End, in London, Australia, musical theater, collegiate programs across the country, we are your one-stop shop for all things theater and fitness. Check us out, builtforthestage.com. for your free program where you'll work with me on an interactive fitness app, builtforthestage.com. All right, let's get on to our special guest. Special guest as always. I recently got to see Back to the Future on Broadway. I saw it last October in London, so super cool to see both productions. I think it hit a little different over here just because, it's a US movie. So I think we kind of relate just a little extra step further than maybe that London crowd. But both casts, both productions were phenomenal. I had the best time. So if you haven't seen Back to the Future yet and you're in New York, go ahead and see it. If you're not in New York, I don't know, buy a plane ticket or start walking there and go see Back to the Future. All right. Our guest, as mentioned, is in the cast of Back to the Future. They are in the ensemble making their Broadway debut. They're from St. Louis, Missouri, and they grew up performing at the Muni over there in St. Louis. So it seems like theater was a part of their life from the very beginning. They then hopped on over to good old Berea, Ohio. I believe Baldwin Wallace is in Berea. I actually got accepted to BW way back in the day. Go Yellow Jackets. I didn't go there, but maybe our guest can tell us about their experience. They also were seen in Kinky Boots, Ain't Too Proud, Hadestown as an assistant choreographer, some TV and film stuff, like these little shows you hear about, like The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon, Saturday Night Live, those little ones. So please, with no further ado, welcome to the podcast, Nick Drake.
Hi.
Oh, goes wild. Go Nick Drake.
Yes. Hey.
Hi, Nick. Thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to Built for the Stage podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
All right. So let's up the excitement and jump on the BFTS hot seat to just shake it loose a bit. Let's just rip the Band-Aid. I didn't tell you that, this was going to go on, but hey, it's happening. We're going to talk things like maybe movies, maybe music, maybe foods. Who knows? All right. So you are waking up and you're like, perhaps it's for the 3 a.m. call time that you were talking about earlier.
Right.
And you need that one song to get you going. What is that one song?
Right now, it's I'm Every Woman, Shaka Khan, but Whitney Houston's cover version of it. Okay. It starts off, you're like, you wake up to it, and she's like, and so, and then she gets into it, and then you're like brushing your teeth and
yeah. All right, I'm with it. I love it. Okay, it's old school. We're watching cable TV. We're not streaming, but we're watching cable. And all of a sudden, a movie pops on, and no matter how many times you've seen this movie, it just like dead stops you. You got to watch it.
Jurassic Park.
Okay, like the OG one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, love that answer. All right, let's keep it on in that realm there. If you were to be reincarnated as some type of animal, which animal would you be?
Either a goat or like some like beautiful fish, like an angel fish or something like that.
Okay, you said goats, right?
Yes.
Okay, give us the why. What did you say?
Goats are my favorite animal. I think they just look really, really crazy. I think the rectangle eyes are just something out of this world. I've always thought they were aliens. And look, aliens are here. Like the press conference we just heard. I've always thought they were aliens, and I just think that they're literally just like the craziest thing. And also kind of sing like a goat. Like they scream really, really loud, and the way that they laugh is kind of like me.
Right.
I do appreciate them.
And we have the new like cultural saying of goat, greatest of all time.
Right. You know what? Look, Look, that's what I'm trying to be. Okay?
I
Look.
love it. Okay, you're going to a restaurant and you're meeting 3 friends, but the 3 friends ghost you and you're super sad. But the hostess is like, hey, it's okay. I have this magic card here and I can get you 3 guests to replace them. And they're any guests that you'd like, living, deceased, maybe like fictional, like a cartoon, who knows? Any 3 guests that you want, who are you gonna say to come to dinner with you?
Okay, well, one is Whitney Houston, has to be.
Uh-huh.
2 has to be, um, oh my god, I'm just gonna say artist, I guess. Leanne LaHavis, she's like one of my favorite singers in the entire world.
Okay.
And then as a wild card, I would probably bring SpongeBob SquarePants to the table.
Oh, that's epic. I love that answer.
It's like 3 black people and like a crazy animated sponge. What nonsense would go on? Yeah, so definitely that.
Can we make that into like the title of your memoir? I think that would be
Okay, yeah, three black people and a sponge.
something like that. Just
Yeah.
like it was too good not to put on the front of a book. Okay, last hot seat question. You are trapped inside of a gym, and you're required every day to do the same movement for the rest of your life for, let's just say, 5 minutes. What is that movement that you're gonna pick to do every day for 5 minutes?
Push-ups.
Okay, there you go. Push-ups.
Then
Congratulations, you're off the BFTS hot seat.
Sweating.
It was hot up there, right?
It was, yes. Yes, it was.
All right, so let's rewind to the intro. You're from St. Louis, Missouri, and you were, I mean, I'll just say like fortunate enough to grow up in such a like prolific, if you will, regional theater with the Muni, and just kind of being immersed in professionalism from the start. Tell us about that experience.
It's a crazy, crazy, crazy experience to be a child and working with like EGOT winners. And then now I'm working with the same people that used to choreograph me when I was like 12, like Chris Bailey, who choreographed Back to the Future, and Beth. I've both done shows with at the Muni when I was like 14 or 15. And when I auditioned, Beth was like, "Oh my God, Nick Drake! Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you!" And the rest is history, I guess. I mean, like we started working together and we became really, really close. And now I'm here doing Back to the Future on Broadway with the same people. Like I worked with Blakely there, and JJ spent a summer there, and now he's like, and he was in college when he did it, and now I'm like his roommate in our dressing room. Like it's kind of crazy to think about the pipeline that St. Louis has to professionalism.
Yeah. Wow, that's super cool. Okay, so when you were doing that as a kid, did you ever say like, "Oh, this was fun," but you veered off to another path, or was it like, "This is what I'm doing, and here I am right now today"? Like I never took my eyes off the prize.
I've always said when I was even younger, even before I got into theater and before I got into singing and all those things, I was like, I'm gonna be an entertainer at some level, at some way. I did think I was gonna be a marine biologist because I love sea creatures so much, but that didn't happen, and I was really bad in school. Shout out to Crossroads College Prep for putting up with my bull crap. But I always thought I was going to do this. And since like 6th grade, like we had an auction every year in 6th grade, and the 6th graders had to help out with the auction, but they were required to do a dance for like the people who were donating or whatever auction people do. And this is the first year, my 6th grade year, where they asked someone to sing, and we had someone from the Muni who was a youth director there come in and choreograph our number, and then I was chosen to sing. We did a chorus line, so we did one singular sensation, and then we
What a song to choose for
right?
of all the songs. That's
Right? Like really. And then they asked like, "Oh, who in this class sings?" And they're like, "Oh, Nick is always singing down the hallway. Nick is always up front in music class." And they asked me to sing "What I Did for Love" at the auction. It was the first time I ever sung anything in front of that many people. And then they asked that youth director was like, "You should audition for the Muni." And then I did Showboat in like 2010 when they did it, and I just stayed there every single summer. There's not I literally like I did like 15 or 16 shows there, and I from like sixth grade to senior year of high school. So,
So I'm assuming you weren't a shy kid, like you weren't afraid to get
oh
up there and
baby,
just go for it.
never have been, never will be. I was out front. Okay. Always, I love attention. And I will say it to today. Okay. I love attention. I love entertaining my friends. I love making people laugh. And I've always been that way. I've
Mm.
always made people laugh. I've always wanted to make people's days better. Like, I've always loved being in front and doing all those things.
Where do you think you get that? The like,
My dad.
okay.
My dad is also a singer. He used to sing with the Temptations. He used to have a big band in St. Louis, and my brother's also in the entertainment industry. He plays guitar. He played with Tori Kelly and Indy Irie and at Coachella, Jimmy Kimmel. Like my family is that family. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
look.
Let's
Uh,
go.
but when I did Ain't Too Proud and I got to play a whole bunch of Temptations, my dad was like, "Oh my god, like Dennis Edwards is from U City, and we used to sing with Dennis Edwards all the time." And I played Dennis Edwards a lot on tour, so I was swinging and I was a dance captain, and it was hard stuff, but we were in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. So I mentioned earlier that you went to BW.
right.
Once you first off, how was that going to school in Berea? Yeah, Berea.
Oh my god, it was wild, and you wouldn't think it would be wild because you're like in this like crazy old community, but BW itself is like this crazy little like like it's a huge conservatory of music, so you get people from literally all over the world coming to BW to train in music. Like I have a bachelor's in music, but it was a wild experience. Those 4 years were one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my entire life because there are no distractions. Like
Mm.
you're in a community of old elderly people as a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old learning musical theater, so you only had that to do really.
Right.
And so, I mean, like the parties were lit. Let me say that. Okay, look, the parties would be fun at the
That's all you. That's all you got.
right because we would and every week. Look, we would have master classes every week, and then after those master classes and that Sunday, we would just party, and everyone would go wild. Okay,
Right.
so and also I will say the food in Cleveland is really really great,
Mm.
and let me shout them out: Boss Chicken and Beer. It's on the BW campus. Maybe the best chicken wings I've ever eaten in my entire life. And it
Okay.
came my junior year, and I would literally spend $60 a week, like almost 7 days a week, eating that chicken every single
Mm.
day.
Mm.
So,
Okay. Shout out. So once you graduate, do they roll out the red carpet and you just start booking and now you're on Broadway? Or tell us a little bit about those hills and valleys, if you will.
so in almost every program, you're training to be the best that you can be, but you're also training for that showcase spot. Okay, you're training to like go to New York, showcase in front of all these people. I did not have that luxury. I graduated in 2020. So uh, when I was in school, the last time I saw my class all together was March 3rd because I was studying abroad in Denmark, and I had to evacuate Denmark to come back uh, to America after Trump made that big ban. So I was stuck in London for like 3 days. It was a whole big mess. I was in that huge CNN photo of like super spreaders come back to the States. And it's like a whole bunch of people in the Chicago O'Hare airport, thousands and thousands of people. You will find my face in that picture. And it took me like 2 weeks just to get all of my stuff to get back to Cleveland because had this I had to quarantine in St. Louis, and then I had to fly to Cleveland and then drive all of my stuff back from my house. So I will say a lot of people from Showcase do start booking and they start working a lot, and they got their agents, and they meet all these casting directors and meet all these managers, and they start. BW is that kind of school, and it's been very successful. I was not a showcase person, but we did get a highlight reel, and then that's how I met my agents in the pandemic. And right when everything opened up, I started working again. And even during the pandemic, I was doing those like little pandemic gigs. Like, um, I was working with Lauren Lataro for a little bit and like dancing for her. And then when things started opening up right after that summer, or right during that summer, I booked Ain't Too Proud in 2021. So I was very lucky to be in the right place at the right time. And then ever since then, I just have kept going. I write during tour. I left after right at the 6 month mark to go do Kinky Boots off Broadway, and I also did like a little reading in between those in that time too for like a new musical that's going to London. So I have been very lucky. Okay, look, and I'm very grateful for the universe and whoever you believe in. But I've been very very lucky, and I'm very grateful.
Okay, so as a young performer and being able to work alongside of all these seasoned veterans, are there any lessons or any people that you've come across that you're like, oh yeah, I'll take that habit, or I'll take that ritual, or I'll take that work ethic, or I'll take this, that, or the other and put that in my tool bag, if you will? Like, are there any people or moments like that that you really draw upon on a daily basis?
Someone even in the show right now that like Roger Bart is maybe the most kind person I've ever met in my entire life, and he is a veteran. Like he's been in everything. He's done. He's Hercules. Like what? Like he is Hercules. So I think over the years of working with like people like EGOT winners and like Jennifer Holiday and like people I worked with at the Muni. I there's Rob McClure, like all these people who have done these jobs. The biggest thing that I've learned is that you have to be kind, because I'm seeing people that I've seen when I was 14 years old that I'm now working with, who recognize me for these things and who see me for who I am and what I do. And I feel like the biggest thing you can do is just be a good person, because you will see people that even if they hurt you along the way, you still got to be a respectful and a good person. And something that I'm learning for myself, and being able to work in this crazy business and being able to be a part of this crazy business, is that old traditions are now becoming old. Okay. And as a younger generation person who is working this successfully, you just got to show up as yourself every single day, and you have to be exactly who you are every single day. I have tattoos. I'm crazy. Look, I yell, scream, but if you get your work done, you get. That's how they know that you are a professional. I am the not yelling and screaming as in a mean way, but like being like obnoxiously taking attention like I always do, and, and I always have. But I will say being exactly who you are is what people are looking for right now. They're looking for new, interesting people to take this business and make it as creative as it was when our elderly people were doing it back when they were our age. So just be exactly who you are. I love all my crazy tattoos and my crazy piercings and how queer I am and all those things. Just be exactly who you are, and that's going to get you a lot farther than you think.
No one else can be Nick Drake, right?
Right. No one else. I mean, there is a famous Nick Drake who died. He's a folk singer. He had Pink Moon, but look, not this one. Okay.
No one can be at Nick X Drake. No one
Right.
can be at Nick X.
No one can. Right. Look. Right. Exactly.
All right. So first off, amazing. I wrote down all those timestamps because I want to make sure I reiterate that to the listeners and everyone that's going to come across this episode. As you're in Back to the Future, when you first saw that it was coming here, or you first found out you're going to go into audition or whatever, what was your like previous connection with the movie, if anything? Like, were you like, oh my gosh, I would be obsessed if I were in this musical, or were you like, oh yeah, I know that movie?
So I'm gonna be so for real with you.
Please do it.
I didn't watch that movie until our second week of previews.
Hilarious.
So when I went in for it, I was like, Back to the Future. I was like, what the hell is going? I was like, okay, fine. And then Brett was like, no, I think you really like it. Like it did really well in London. And then I was looking it up. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, I know Chris and I know Beth. And I was like reading everyone who was on my little appointment call thing. And I was like, oh, and I know Claire. So I'll go in. You know what? I'll see what's it about. And I just got Kinky Boots just closed. So no, that's not true. I think a month went by and Kinky Boots closed. Sorry, Kinky Boots closed. A month went by and then I went in. It was like the beginning of December, the middle of December. And when I went in for it and I saw Chris and Beth was like, Nick Drake. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to have a good time. And then I started dancing. I was like, wow. I was so tired. I could not tell you, Joe, baby. It was that. Listen, what we're doing up on that stage is no joke. Okay. It is so hard. And, the more that when I started researching more, I only was watching clips. I was like, let me just, get familiar with it. But then when I booked it, I was like, I should probably watch it. And I didn't watch it for another 8 months because I knew December 23rd or whatever. So it's been like 8 months. And then when I watched it during people, I was like, why haven't I seen it yet? I feel like I know it, but I haven't seen it. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, wait, that's me. Oh my God, that's my track. Oh my God, wait, that's me too. And it's so crazy to like see it in a movie and then like see where you play it in the show. Yeah. Like I'm the bass player with like I want to meet that man with this like crazy, gorgeous blonde hair. And then I remember in rehearsal, I was like, I should wear sunglasses, not even seeing the movie. Okay. And John, our director, was like, oh, you absolutely should wear sunglasses. And I didn't even know that it was in the movie, that the guy is like on the bass wearing sunglasses every time. Right. So look, it wasn't my story at the beginning, but it is now. Okay.
That's right. I think that the musical, just given the context of Back to the Future, as a ensemble member that's dancing, I think it has to be extremely fun because you're like tackling two different styles of dance. Like at some point I'm like, oh, this is like old school swing and things like that. And then at other points I'm like, oh, this is like a Vegas variety show now.
Yes. We're literally we have like a huge Broadway number in it and like Future Boy where we're literally doing a chorus line basically. And like in the beginning, I love the opening. It is maybe one of the hardest things I've ever have to do in my entire life. Ever. You have to sing crazy, crazy high notes and crazy, crazy dynamics while also doing like triple turns. Like we have a section where we C jump, slide on the floor, double turn. It's crazy. Okay. It's like one of the hardest things ever, but that sits in like a really great 80s style. Yeah. And then we have like all this like crazy swing that happens. I fortunately don't have to do a lot of that because it's hard. And I only have to do it once with the Broadway Becca Peterson. And I am very grateful for her. But it's a crazy show. And the dancing is really, really nuts.
Your cast is stacked.
Oh, let me tell you. Look, we got it, huh? We really do. We have like the Broadway, the girls. Okay. We have all the people. All the people.
Right. Really. The who's who, right?
Amber Ardolino, JJ Neiman, Broadway Becker Peterson, okay? Jonathan Sachs, like we have it all, okay? We got all the people who are Broadway vets, who are ready to do this. And that's why the show is so good because first of all, everyone in our cast, it's maybe the best cast I've ever been a part of. Everyone is so nice. Everyone is so silly. That's what makes it so great. We have so much room to be silly in, and everyone is there to do the job, and we love doing it, and we're having so much fun together. And everyone's so fierce and so talented that they bring something crazy to the job every single day. So I love every single person in our show. Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to end with this tough question for you. Maybe it won't be tough. Maybe you'll know exactly what you're going to say. But when I saw the show, as you know, the famous NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers was there, but
Right.
the cast was hanging out, whatever. And you made a joke like, you know, it's fine. I'm waiting for when Beyonce shows up. When she shows up, what are you gonna say to Beyonce?
Oh, I'm gonna say, I'm so sorry I didn't buy tickets to your concert. But you know what? I'm glad you came to mine.
Oh, what a little like that would be hilarious.
Right? I think that'd be great. I'd be like, I love you so much, but listen, Broadway can only pay the bills right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beyonce, I'm sorry I couldn't make it to your show, but I appreciate you coming to mine. Maybe next time I'll have the time to show up for you.
Okay.
But thanks for coming to my show. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Oh, Nick, this has been so fun. Thanks for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. Thanks for basically everyone from minute 13:45 and through like 18:30. Go ahead and rewind, listen to that again, full of inspiration, full of wisdom there. So, Nick, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I had so much fun.
All right, everyone. Nick Drake from the cast of Back to the Future. If you haven't already, hop on over to Insta, give Nick a follow, Nick X Drake. I'm Joe Roscoe with Built for the Stage. Check us out, builtforthestage.com, or on the Insta or the Tick that talks at Built for the Stage. Actors or athletes, train like one. Later.